right, good afternoon, class. It is time for social studies, but before we start, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to talk about this with your table groups. This is your question. What is the fastest way from our classroom to the cafeteria for lunch? All right, I want you all to talk about that with your groups, and then we'll have a whole discussion about it. All right, so what way do you think is the fastest way from our classroom to the cafeteria? Yes. Okay, that's a good answer. Anybody else have a different answer? Yeah. Okay, so we have some different answers, but how do you think we could actually find out what's the fastest way? Talk with your table groups for a second about that. How could we find out for real what the fastest way is? All right, what ways did you think of? Yeah, we could time ourselves walking. That's a good idea. Anybody else have a different way? Yes. Right, we could use a map. So if we had a school map, we could use that to figure out the fastest way. Well, that's what we are actually going to do today. We are going to practice using maps to, first of all, just learn how to use them and learn some different map skills. But then we are going to use maps to figure out the different ways that people traveled to California during the gold rush. So I'm going to pass out a map of our school to all of you now, and I need you to get out a ruler. All right. Okay, so everyone has their map in front of them. What is the first thing that we should do when we look at a map? Yes. Right, it's look at the title of the map to see what we're looking at. So can you all say together the name of the title of our map? Pennicamp Elementary School. Good job. So this is a map of our school. So another thing that you should do when you look at a map is look for the map key or the map legend. Can everyone find the map key or the legend on their paper and point to it? Good job. Okay, so I want you to talk for a couple minutes with your tables about what a map key shows us. What's the purpose of a map key? Okay, so what does the map key tell us? Yes. Right, so the map key can tell us, basically tells us the symbols of things that we'll see in the map so that we know what those symbols are. So what are some of the symbols on our map here? Yeah. Right, so the yellow square would be for the cafeteria, or the blue square would be for our upper grade playground. Good job. Okay, so there's one more thing I want to talk about on the map before we get started using it, and that's the map scale. So everyone find the scale and point to it. So the map scale is basically a measurement so that we can see the distance on the map, how much that actually equals in real life if we were actually walking or driving that distance. So on our map, if you look at the scale, we have a 1-inch line. Everybody take your ruler and measure that line and see if it's 1 inch. Did you all get 1 inch? Yeah? Okay, great. So every 1 inch that we see on our map equals 50 feet in real life. So what we need to do is to use the map scale, we would draw a line from whatever place we're going to the next place, and we would use the ruler to map it out. And every inch that we map out would be 50 feet in real life. So let's go back to our first question that we started off today. What is the quickest route from the cafeteria or from our classroom to the cafeteria? Okay, so let's test out those two ways that some of you said were the quickest way. So we're back here on room 31. Can everyone find where we are? Okay, good. So let's draw out a line from room 31 all the way to the cafeteria. And the cafeteria, we know from the map key, is the yellow box, which is over here. So let's draw that out now, that line. And we're going to go down past room 20 and in between room 14 and 23. So can you all see that displayed on our document camera? Okay, so everyone draw in your line. And now what we're going to do is we are going to measure that. So everyone get your rulers ready. And we are going to measure how many inches that line is. So let's do that together. And you can watch me on the document camera. So I see this first inch right there. And then we have 2 inches. Let's count together. Here's 3 inches. And 4 inches. And I'm going to pick up my ruler and leave it where I left off. 5 inches. And about 1/2 inch. So that would have been 5.5 inches. So if it was 5.5 inches on our scale, and then we have 1 inch equals 50 feet in real life, how would we figure out how far it is in feet? Yes, right, we would multiply. So let's do that together on our whiteboard. We have, it's 50 feet to 1 inch, and our measurement was 5.5 inches. So let's do that multiplication now together. So once we did that multiplication, we found out that it is 275 feet to take that route to the cafeteria. Now let's do that whole same process, but with going the back way to the cafeteria, around the back garden and coming that way, and see if that way is any quicker. So let's do that together now. So first we're going to draw out our line. So we would go up and around here and down to the cafeteria. And now what we need to do is we need to get our rulers ready, and we need to mark off and measure how far this is. So we have about 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches. So that one is only 5 inches. So how can we figure out how far that distance is in real life? Right, we can multiply again. And so this time it would be 50 feet, right, times 5. And when we do that multiplication, we end up getting 250 feet. So which distance was faster? The front way to the cafeteria with 275 feet or the back way with 250 feet? Right, the back way with 250 feet. So that's just one example of how we can use a map to figure out the distance or the shortest distance to a place. Okay, we're gonna do one more practice one together to make sure we got this down. So this time I wanna figure out how many feet it is from the front gate of our school to the library. So everyone can follow along while I do this with the document on the document camera, and you copy my, what you see on the board. Okay, so we're gonna draw our line right past the office and then down in between our two buildings all the way to the library. And the library, we know that's the red cube because it says that in the map legend. So we have that, and now what we're gonna do is everyone get your rulers out and let's do this together. Let's figure out how many inches this line is. So we have 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches. Did everyone get 7 inches? Yeah? Okay. So we have 7 inches, and how many feet to every inch? 50, right. So we need to multiply again. 50 times 7. So our 50 feet times 7 inches gives us, what does it give us? 350 feet. Good job. So that's how far it is from the front gate to our library. All right, so now I want to give you all a chance to practice this with your shoulder partners. So I'm going to pass out this map of our city. This is the Grand Oaks city map. And on the back of the map, there are some questions about distances that you need to figure out how far they are using the scale. So I'm going to pass those out now and work with your shoulder partner, and I'll be walking around the classroom if you need any help with anything. All right, great job working on that city map skills worksheet. We have one more activity today, and it's going to be working with a map of the different routes that people took to California. So I am going to pass out this worksheet to you all right now, and I want you to take some time and look at the map and look at the key to see the different routes that people traveled. And remember from our lesson a few days ago on regions, this map shows the regions. So I want you to be looking for what regions people would have had to travel through when they came to California. And there are some questions on the back of your worksheet to answer about that. So I'm going to pass that out now, and if you don't finish in the rest of the time today, then you'll take that home and that'll be your homework for today. All right, so let's get started. All right, so before we end the lesson today, I want to give some of you an opportunity to come up and show your map on the document camera and show us how far you found that it took certain people to travel to California based on the routes. So I'm going to choose 3 volunteers to come up to the board now and to demonstrate that for us, okay? All right, you can come up first. Okay, great job today, everyone, working on those maps. So I want you to take home that map worksheet of California and finish it if you haven't finished it yet. And then when you come back tomorrow, we are going to do something really fun with all this information that we've learned just because of this map.
One day later.
All right, class, so we just finished reading the story Gold Fever about some people that traveled to California and all the emotions they felt. And we've been reading by the Great Horn Spoon, and we've heard about a lot of the different emotions that came with him as he traveled to California as well. So can some of you raise your hands and just share some words, some emotions that people have probably felt while they came to California? Scared, good. Fear, Anxious, yeah, because they didn't really know what to expect, right? Cold, oh yeah, I bet it was really cold along some of those routes that they took through the mountain ranges, huh? Yep, okay, what else? Excitement, I like that one. Any other emotions or feelings that they had? Tired, yep. Anticipating, that's great. Good job. Those are definitely some emotions that people probably felt when they were coming to California. Okay, so we have a very fun project that we are going to be working on today. In just a few minutes, I am going to be giving each of you the names of two actual people that came to California. And what you're going to do is you're going to use your maps that we worked on yesterday, you're going to use your social studies textbook, and you're going to use all of those articles that you see on your tables right now. And you are going to learn all you can about the way that those two people that you're assigned, the way that they came to California. So the route that they took, and maybe the climates of the regions they had to go through, and all of the things that could have happened as they were traveling to California. I also want you to figure out how far they had to travel. So use your map scale to figure out how far they had to travel. Learn about the mode of transportation that they might have taken. And after you collect all of this research, you are going to write 2 journal entries. So this is a writing assignment. So when you're going to pick one of your people first that you want to write about, and you're going to write a journal entry from that person's perspective. Can someone tell me what perspective means? Yeah. Right, so the perspective is kind of the view or the eyes that someone sees something through. So you're going to actually pretend that you are that person that you have been researching, and you're going to write a journal entry about your travels to California and the different challenges, the excitement, all of those different emotions and things that you think that they could have experienced as they were coming. So you're going to do that for your first person, and then you're going to do it all over again for that next person. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get started working, and I'm going to be walking around the classroom, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And we will get started on this, and then you can take your work home to finish if you don't finish it in class today. All right, let's get started. Okay, it's been so fun to walk around and hear all of the, and see all of the research that you've been doing and collecting. Before we end social studies time today, I want you to talk to your shoulder partner and share some of the things that you have done so far. I know that some of you probably are not even close to being finished with your journal entries, and that's completely fine. You can work on them at home, and we'll have more time in class tomorrow to work on them. But I want you to talk right now with your shoulder partner and share 3 things that you have learned so far today during your research. All right, great conversations, everyone. Thank you for working so hard, and I want to remind you to take home those articles and your maps and everything you need and work on those journal entries at home. And tomorrow you'll have about 20 more minutes to work on your journal entries in class, and then you will turn them in to me at the end of our social studies time tomorrow. All right, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.